We got that started. Now let's do this. Let's go. Brought to you by DMRHosting.com. Unlimited data storage, unlimited data transfer, antivirus, and spam protection, along with 24/7 365 support via chat or phone. Get started today with a 30-day free trial at DMRHosting.com. DMRHosting.com. That's what that was. Good morning, everybody. It's a new day. It's a new week. I've got my cup that shows you that what my wife thinks about me and my thoughts.
Haha.
And today we have a very special guest who happens to be an expert on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, somebody who knows a whole lot about it and has a channel on YouTube and Twitter that goes on about these sorts of things. And I wanted to get his opinion on the upcoming slate of movies this year in 2023. So let's give a warm welcome to Chillmonger.
Woo! Thank you, thank you. Yes, it is Chillmonger, the guy who watched every single Marvel movie on a multiple occasions so many times, especially right before the Infinity War and Endgame. I used to have to watch them all. I wanted to know about the Infinity Stones. How is this going to tie in? And for the most part, I was rewarded.
I was so happy when they did Iron Man because being a long time ago reader, there was no such thing in our minds of a second tier or second rate hero or second string, if you will.
Mhm.
So when Marvel decided that they were going to go ahead and make their own movies as opposed to have somebody else make their movies, they were kind of uh, hogtied when it comes to the properties that they had used to stay afloat. They had already given up the Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and
X-Men,
these.
Fantastic Four,
Yes, they
Daredevil.
all of these titles they gave up for movie purposes, the rights to make those films, just so that they could stay alive. And they even took out a loan, as a matter of fact, to get started with Iron Man. So they had a lot of trouble doing that, but it paid off in the end. And somebody came in and paid their bills and took them under their wing. Wonderful House of Mouse. Disney came to the rescue, and I guess the rest is history.
In '09. Hey, they might need another loan though, the way that some of these movies are going.
That's true. Well, let's talk about some of these movies. Let's see. The first one that's going to come up this year is Ant Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and it sets up the Kang saga. I think is what it is.
Multiverse Saga?
Yeah. So let's talk about Ant Man and what do you think is the actual plot of the movie?
Well, it's a sick name. Quantumania is cool. Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah, we know the Ant-Man franchise isn't the big one. I think the first movie made it about in the 500 million territory. The second
Hmm.
million went up to 630 million. The third one, I guess it would be 700. But then also, like, his stock kind of rised after Avengers Endgame. He was kind of the hero, he and the rat. They made everything possible. So I think that people are going to be into Ant-Man. It's a February release. That doesn't sound positive, but Black Panther, number one, was a February release. Way different circumstances. This is not going to be a cultural event, but the Ant Man Quantumania movie, if we're talking box office, I do expect something in the range of what are the most recent movies have been doing 800 million, 900 million. I give them
Hmm.
that much. 900 million, maybe. They're
Yeah,
not going to
and
have competition.
I don't think they're going to suffer as much. I don't think they're going to um, break the box office like, say, an Avatar, because that, as much as I don't want to give it cultural significance, it does kind of have cultural significance. But Ant Man, I think it's interesting if we were to tie that into back to Endgame and the Loki stories from television,
Yeah.
and He Who Watches the
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. That's the one. I've confused him with the Watcher, which is totally different. But that was in a different episode of TV on those. But He Who Watches basically claimed that he was manipulating uh, Loki and his variant, which means that he was manipulating all of time, all of everything. So let's throw happenstance and chance out the window. That rat was sent by Kang to release Ant Man from the quantum realm at the exact time he needed to be.
Yeah.
So I think instead of the Avengers, we should thank Kang for defeating Thanos.
Let's go ahead and give Kang the all of the credit. Let's go, Kang. Yeah. That's the way you do it. When you have another threat, you have to belittle the other threat, just like the Infinity Stones in the Loki series, how they were in the drawer. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were just sitting around. They, for someone of his threat level, that does put him at a higher level. That they could just be kind of set aside, used as paperweight, something that somebody was conquering the universe with.
Precisely. You see, with Kang though, if he is going to be a credible threat, we do need to have him show us that. Not everyone needs to survive this movie. It's called Ant Man and the Wasp. One of them, the fourth movie will just be called Wasp. I think Ant Man's gone.
What if they wind up getting rid of Hank Pym,
Uh
his
huh.
wife, uh, um, the current Ant Man? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on names
Scott.
here. And instead of Cassie Lang becoming Stature, as she was to do in the comic books, uh, Kang actually creates Stinger, which is a
Huh.
later version of what Cassie's character was going to be.
I would
And
prefer that. I don't want them to go the stature route because comic book wise, they dropped that name. It's Stinger now. So like, don't
mhm.
even give the TV and the movie people the whole. Oh, that's your name. No, that's your name. No, just give her one name and it's final. And I'd like that for Monica also.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So that would be a great idea. So I think probably she's going to. Um, I think maybe she might partner up with Kang in this. And I think the probably several timeline versions of Scott are going to die in this,
Every one
and
of them.
even maybe the one in the timeline. There was a lot given up in the trailer of what some people call the third act, but I think I think they've hidden some stuff like they did with the Spider-Man and with these characters in this story. Frankly, it's going to be a whole lot easier for them to keep that final hook, that last surprise away from us because we are going into this completely blind. This particular storyline that they're doing, Quantumania, is a compilation of a bunch of different things from the Marvel comics, and Kang is playing a part possibly that other characters may have played in those stories, and they like to mix these stories up and bring them together and create something wholly unique for the cinematic universe. So I think there's more surprises coming.
I'm optimistic that there's more surprises coming. When I watched the trailer, I did go, "Ooh, that twist of how Scott didn't actually get what he wanted from Kang. That shouldn't have been in the trailer." I hope there's still
Mhm.
40 more minutes of movie after that scene.
I hope the scene where he says, "I don't have to win, we just both have to lose,"
Uh-huh.
isn't in the third act and happens closer to the end of the second act, so that it gives you that false hope that they were defeated, and then surprise, he wasn't.
I have bad news. His face was all beat up when he said that. That's the end of the movie, bro.
Well, it's definitely the end of Scott for that.
Yes.
How are you feeling about Secret Invasion?
Probably the most interested I am for any of these. So Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, going into them, whatever. We'll see what they do. No, they turned out to be on the upper end. But as
Hmm.
far as this goes, bro, I'm anticipating Secret Invasion so much. All you got to do is hire an actor who just is a different person, and that's the power. The scroll's ability to shapeshift. That's the
Hmm.
power. It's not going to rely on the VFX. A lot of the budget restraints show in these shows, like the She-Hulk stuff, but this not so much. So if you can just have a good writing, a good plot, I know Samuel L. Jackson can carry things forward with it, with the work he can do on the character of Fury. This one is the one what we should be looking out for, and good reason to be happy about this being created.
I saw in the trailer for Secret Invasion that Samuel L. Jackson has two different styles of goatee. So I think we're going to see a scroll
Hmm.
Nick Fury and a human Nick Fury, and they will eventually come together. Plus, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I think Monica Rambeau was pulled up with the scrolls
Yeah, when
at
she
the
was
end.
a
At the
kid.
end.
Yeah, back in Captain Marvel 1, wasn't she buddy buddy with one of the Skrull children playing cards on the stairs?
Yeah,
That
I mean,
that
she's familiar
relationship.
with them.
Mhm.
At the end of WandaVision, she was contacted by one of them, so I think she's
Yeah.
going to play a major part in this and really flesh out her character. Maybe gain her moniker, her hero moniker, before the next time we see her on the big screen.
You see, that's what we like about the MCU when one leads into another to another. And Monica, for the last 4 years since Captain Marvel debuted, she's been in
Mhm.
something every year, and we liked it.
Yeah, yeah, it's they're doing a great job of developing that character. So it's I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the Secret Invasion or how they're going to work it out to play a part in this whole Kang saga that they've got going on. But
It might not.
um,
There may be another subplot serving something else.
true enough, true enough.
Hey, how sure are we they're going to do a joke where it's like, you're not Nick Fury, you're Rick Fury? Okay, I'm sorry. Go, next one, next one.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see that when all of this is said and done, and they've got the multiverse again, and they've introduced mutants and all of these things. They've done their Battle Planet saga or whatever's going on. That we have two different versions of Nick Fury, and one of them is played by, goodness, I just lost his name.
Sylvester
So
Stallone, David Hasselhoff.
one of those guys, with an eye patch on and a leather jacket. That would be just hilarious to see that happen. Uh,
Mhm.
to see a switch like that happen. Guardians of the
Guardians.
Galaxy Volume 2. I think this has got it's got potential to be there. I think there's going to be some hate to match the love for it because of James Gunn and because of his outside of the MCU shenanigans, if you will. Um, People are still digging up dirt about him, and they're making this whole thing about him when really it should be we should be saying goodbye to these characters. Um, I
Goodbye in
think
which way? They're going to die?
uh, I think there a couple of them are going to die. I really do. I think we got a Romeo and Juliet action going on with Star Lord and Gamora. So I think she's going to come around like she did in the first one and fall in love with Peter Quill again. But I think she's going to lose him, so it'll be too little, too late.
And maybe a budding
Also,
relationship with Nova, I hope.
maybe Nova's who's playing Nova?
We don't know. That's not, he hasn't even been announced. I'm just hoping for something.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, because that's they have to give us something from the interstellar Marvel stuff. I mean, they're doing more to expand upon that, and obviously with Guardians of the Galaxy, like Secret Invasion or the She-Hulk introducing Scar, um, they're going to introduce somebody, and it's going to be somebody new. And if it is going to be a Nova, I think they're probably going to go with the animated version of Nova, where he's more of a younger guy.
The Sam Alexander, not the Richard Rider.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and this is why I brought you on because I'm terrible with names, and you're the expert in Marvel and everything else. You know
Well,
how it all ties together.
if it's going to be a relationship, Gamora should be with Richard Rider. If not, and they just want to introduce some things in the galaxy, like Xandar, the movie the first movie featured Xandar. That's the Nova Corps. Those people might go like, "Hey, Earth has all these heroes. Let's give one of our helmets to an Earthling," and then we get Richard Rider or
Hmm.
Sam. We get a Nova basically. I think that the
Yeah.
movie featuring Novas, featuring some Shi'ar Empire stuff. There's a lot of cameos you could do because this is Cosmic Marvel and they're the Cosmic franchise. Thor didn't do too much of it, but the way that the last movie went, they kind of introduced all these different factions and stuff. They're not gonna do it. James Gunn already proved that he would do it. I also want a DC Easter egg, just like see if he can slip something in.
Somebody's going to be called Superman or Batman or something,
Yeah,
or maybe there'll be a poster on a wall. You never know exactly how he's going to slide that in there.
yeah.
You think they're going to maybe sneak in a reference to the Beyonder?
I thought he was in it. I thought the Beyonder was cast and he was in the trailer.
Oh,
Wasn't
really?
he?
I don't recall of seeing the Beyonder
Then
specifically.
I'm not thinking. I'm thinking of somebody else. Then it wasn't the Beyonder, but it was somebody with the ER at the end of his name. Bro, I'm sorry. I got a computer in front of me. I can search it.
Let's see.
You gonna edit this out, or are we just gonna wait it?
We can. I'm going to wait
High
it. Let's.
evolutionary. My bad. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that there we go. Yeah, it was a high evolutionary
All right.
who is not a version of Kang.
Mm.
Uh, but there are rumors that the Beyonder will be a version of Kang. And that's an example of how Marvel takes their existing properties, their existing titles from the comics, and rearrange them to fit what they've got going on in the cinematic universe.
Which is fine sometimes. Like when they made
Mhm.
Bucky Barnes the White Wolf of Wakanda, he's not supposed to be. Whatever. I guess you weren't doing the Bucky Barnes or the White Wolf official story. I did have an issue with Taskmaster. That was like, bro, did you really need to not make Taskmaster Taskmaster and then use Taskmaster again in this upcoming Thunderbolts movie too? You probably shouldn't have done that one.
Taskmaster was nothing more than a Black Widow. It's just
Yeah.
that's the way that worked out, the way they did it. And um, the actress that they hired has far more range than they gave her the opportunity to be. I mean,
Oh, she was a zombie.
they Princess Amidala'd her. Uh, took a fine actress with a wonderful range, wonderful capabilities, and hogtied her to be, like you said, a zombie. So
So with Guardians
hopeful.
3, final thoughts on this movie. I'm going to be
Mhm,
watching it in 3D because when I watched Avatar, I saw this trailer in 3D and I went, "Oh, this is wonky. This is fun." So I will see this movie in 3D and I recommend every single one of you do the same for the visuals, the fact that all of these actors put their necks on the line for James Gunn regardless of where you stand, guys. They believed in this director so much that I believe that there was some sort of agreement like, fine, we'll do it, but this is all your last movies. And that's why it's so realistic that all of these guys die. The stakes for
mhm.
this will match the stakes of like Endgame or Infinity War when we were all worried. This could be it.
I love the fact that James Gunn also plays as much homage as possible to Jack Kirby with his backgrounds and the whole way he does the cosmic energy and things like that. They do their best to reflect the artists that birth birthed, if that's the word, these stories and characters.
The
So
erected these
let's
stories.
let's move on to a character I know absolutely nothing about,
Same here.
and that's Echo. Um, other than making a crude remark like saying, "I'm not sure we need to have the volume on when we watch it." Um, I don't know who this is. I don't know what part she plays, but it seems to me that this is a stepping stone for Daredevil and the Kingpin to come closer to going head to head.
It's a stepping stone. It's something in between what we introduced in Hawkeye to now. I hope. Actually, my best hopes are it's a stepping stone that's attached to those last time we saw her and the next time we'll see her in Daredevil.
Hmm. Do you think
Mm,
Kate Bishop will play a role in Echo?
No, I don't think so. But it'd be nice if it did happen. Just because Haley Steinfeld's too up here as an actress, she has options. Probably should have got someone who isn't as popular as her, especially if you're locking somebody into Marvel. But so the answer is no. I think this will be the Maya Lopez story. Let's figure out who she is. I'll give them
Hmm.
credit for casting somebody who isn't traditionally it's always white guys, and they didn't do it this time. Now it's also not a movie. I'll give you the
Hmm.
most credit if you put a $200 million budget behind someone of what's the correct way to say it? Native origins, Aboriginal is it? So if you want to do that and make someone who has that physical appearance be on billboards and posters, I'm going to give that credit all the time. It's just a Disney Plus, but it's also not nothing. So No, no, that's like the plus of this. And if they make this character take off, who knows? Echo could have the best show of them all. The
And
anticipation is not there.
it does check a lot of the boxes for those who like to put boxes for check marks to happen in. And she herself is a deaf actress, and it's wonderful to see people getting representation. And lost my train of thought,
No,
but
I agree with you. They're getting representation. Also, make it good. Don't make the
mhm,
whole next like episode 2, 3, 4, and 5 about sign language and the intricacies of that. I
mhm.
don't want that. In Ms. Marvel, awesome character. Hey, high five, Ms. Marvel. You shouldn't have made the episode 4 and 5 a trip away. Let's go to her home roots. Like Captain America did not give you a history lesson on America. You got to give her. You got to use what makes her unique and the things, the check boxes. Use what you're checking
Mhm.
respectfully, and never have it take away from the story or deprive her from getting a hero story the way that guys like Iron Man got and stuff like that.
Well, something like that, because it took so many episodes to do that and introduce us to the rich history of Kamala Khan and her family and her religion. It the purpose of that entire series was to get to that message. It's kind of like when you have a Christian movie, the message isn't the plot of the story. The story leads you to the message, and the message is what's important to be delivered. And I don't fault them for having that message in there, because it's important for people to understand where people who are not like-minded come from, and where they stand, and how they get to that point, and that they're not just the opinion that they have. I mean, she had a rich, full family that loved her, that cared for her, that were not in strife. Normally you see in any type of media aimed for children, the parents are divorced. They have to go
Yeah,
between the different houses. They're
yeah. Maya
working so
Lopez,
hard.
her parents died, right?
Yeah, they're trying to pay. They're not paying as much attention to the child, so the child gets into shenanigans, and that's been the template for far too long. It's good to see a family that loves and supports their children, even when they do really crazy things like become a superhero.
Hmm.
I have high hopes for Echo to do the exact same thing and take an obscure character and bring it to the forefront and shine a light on something that's completely new to everybody, um, even diehard fans, so that they can have something brand new to look at, to latch onto, to champion, and to bring into their hearts. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope that it
And I have
does.
my doubts.
After all, she is a paid assassin killer type person. So how
Okay.
much can you love that? So since we were talking about Kamala Khan, let's talk about the Marvels. I don't know a whole lot about this particular story, so maybe you can fill me in on that.
This may be in the leak territory. Do you want me to really say?
Spoiler alert, folks. Leaks ahead.
Apparently, remember the end credit scene of Ms. Marvel? She just swapped bodies with Carol. Well, yeah,
Hmm.
that's the plot of the movie. The three of them, Monica, Kamala, Carol, will be switching bodies, and they'll try to solve the mystery that way.
Now, will they be switching bodies or switching place?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that question. I think they are switching bodies only, and not so much switching places.
Okay, so when she switched from herself, Kamala Khan, to Carol Danvers, and she looked around and said, "No, this isn't right."
Hmm.
Um, that was Kamala Khan saying, "No, this isn't right," because she's in somebody else's body in her own home. Or was it
That was Carol.
Carol who switched places with Kamala
Places.
Khan
So I guess it's
and said,
places. Yeah, they'll be switching places and memories. I don't know what happened to Kamala when that happened, if Kamala went somewhere else, or she went to exactly where Carol was, or she was absent from her body. And I'm not sure the exacts, but that's the plot of this movie, apparently. And why? Well, you see, kids, a long time ago, there was a character named Captain Marvel for Fawcett Comics. Once upon a time, DC sued them and said, hey, that guy who says Shazam and turns into Captain Marvel is too similar to Superman. And so that company goes belly up, and then DC's like, hey, we're just going to acquire Shazam, Billy Batson, the guy who's Captain Marvel. And then Marvel goes, well, our company's called Marvel. We should have a Captain Marvel too. And they made a guy named Marvel Captain Marvel. Marvel dies, but to retain the copyrights, they needed to keep the name. So they made Monica Rambeau, this brand new character that debuted in Amazing Spider-Man Annual Issue 16. Monica Rambeau, the new Captain Marvel. Why? Just so they can keep the name. Now, Monica's changed names to like other things, Photon, Spectrum. The thing is, though, Carol Danvers goes, well, I was friends with Marvel. I'm going to be the new Captain Marvel. She did that around 2012. And that's why all three of these guys have Marvel in their name. And we know why Kamala got her name. And because of that crazy history, they go, "Oh, we can put them all in the movie and call Captain Marvel 2 The Marvels." That's all. There's no storyline reason. It's got everything to do with the legal mumbo jumbo, and that's why we get this.
You think they had a whiff of DC coming up with the Marvels as the Shazam family, a movie title, maybe their third
Mm,
film, and they just tried to jump ahead of that and got rid of the name Captain Marvel 3.
that's as good as reason as any other. I
I,
hope they
I
give
think,
Monica her name Photon and just cement it in with Photon. I don't want the name
yeah,
changes.
they should have started with the canon character first. They should have started with Rambo and not with Carol Danvers, I think. But that's neither here nor there. I think it would be a whole lot better if they did have some sort of Freaky Friday situation and they were
Mm.
trading bodies and had to deal with the consequences of their actions, of the other person's actions. You have Kamala Khan jumping into Photon's body, who happens to be with the Skrull army, and what they're planning on doing, and she's got to try to figure out how to mimic somebody she's never met.
You want a
And
tag team wrestling match. And then she goes,
yeah,
oh, these are too hard. Go, Carol, tag.
and Carol Danvers now has to navigate high school, and Monica Rambeau has to deal with some sort of cosmic thing that's going on in the universe that nobody ever knows
Mhm.
about or hears about, but
Yeah.
keeps Carol Danvers pretty darn busy.
Hey, in this, who's Bubba, who's Devon, and who's Spike?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to say Carol is Spike because she takes a lot of beating and keeps getting back up in and out of the MCU. All right, what was next here? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Loki. Loki set up some stuff for the MCU that is going to have ramifications for years to come. The introduction of Kang the Conqueror, or one version
He
of
who
him,
remains.
he who remains. I was going to say he who waits. I was going to get it wrong again.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about this second series, and whether or not it's wrong for Loki to date himself?
I do think it's wrong for Loki to date himself. I was not shipping the two. Um, I'll say that I wasn't too into the first season, but Michael
Hmm.
Waldron wrote this, wrote Doctor Strange too, is writing Loki, and then I think he also has another writing job with Feige somewhere.
Hmm.
I hope it leads somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll leave it
Uh,
there.
Technically, it's not shipping if they did it in the show and Loki kissed her.
Well, then I
So,
wasn't
so that
applauding it.
it's canon now. It's no longer a ship; it's canon.
There's no
Uh,
child of Loki fan fiction over here.
but there's no harm in loving thyself. I think that's in the Bible. So,
Oh, I can't fight it now. Yeah. I don't want those letters.
so, so Loki is going to have a version of Kang, possibly Kang the Conqueror, who's taken over the TVA once the entire sacred timeline was destroyed uh, by a variant of Loki who's taken off and nowhere to be found. Do they fix anything in this? Do they recreate the sacred timeline in this second episode of Loki, or do things continue to unravel?
Will continue to unravel. We are leading towards a secret wars and just chaos. No, nothing will be fixed. In fact, things will get so much worse, more will die, and we need Kang to raise his stock and to become that next villain, huge threat. And this is the way you do it, taking care of of Loki and everyone in the timeline.
So, does anybody die in this? Do we lose people? Because
We lose
the TV
Sylvie.
shows, we lose Sylvie.
Hmm.
Okay, Sylvie doesn't replace Loki.
Nah, they never commit to these things. Like Jane Foster was supposed to be the new Thor, according to people who wanted to be upset about that. I watched the movie. It was a Thor movie. Jane was featured. Marvel's never committed to the replacement, not yet.
Well, I think
Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson is. I do think he's and pardon me for saying this, but yeah, I do think he's a placeholder.
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to Bucky though.
Well, Steve
They
will be
entered.
back. Don't worry. Chris Evans will get paid all the money he needs. They'll drink some formula, make him younger again, and he can do this all day.
I think probably it's going to go to somebody else. There was uh, in the Winter Soldier storyline uh, on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They introduced a character who was the original um, Black Captain America, who was done wrong, and they also introduced his grandson, who later
Isaiah
becomes
Bradley and Eli
yes,
Bradley.
and Eli becomes Patriot later on. And I think the shield is going to go to him.
Mm. Yay, mantle passing.
Well,
Nah,
Batman should have given up his mantle long ago, and we know he's just holding on to it because he's greedy. He's kind of like Vince McMahon in that way.
they're just about as rich. Do you think Sylvie will replace Loki?
I think that's probably where they were going to go. I'm not sure that it'll happen. They do have a younger version of Loki they can fall on for the Young Avengers, who's going to probably take the crocodile with them.
Mhm.
So we may have two Lokis in the far gone future. He may be replaced with a different actor, like they did with Cassie Lang. But I think that particular character with the horns and the long hair and being probably about 5'6" is going to be the next Loki.
Mhm.
Because the actors themselves, they can, if they decided, Disney decided that the Avatar experiment is the way to go. Steve Rogers could come back. Hawkeye could come back with just a voice, a stunt person, and a facial replacement.
Yeah,
So, I mean, technically, these guys can live on forever if they decide to. They've already done the capture, motion capture of all of their faces and likenesses. So,
I hope they got
um,
paid.
they
And
could,
how happy are they did that before Jeremy Renner's incident? And best wishes,
yeah,
well wishes to Jeremy's recovery. But bro, they avoided a
yeah.
lot of. Should they have to break that glass in case of emergency?
I hope the rumors aren't true. I hope he does have a full speedy recovery, but they do have in place, and because of stunts and the way that they film, they have used digital versions of him before, and the other characters for the uh, massive fight scenes that they had and things like that. But Hulk, Bruce Banner,
Mm,
they he's just there to wear that gray suit and have a thing on top of his head for people to look at while he
yeah.
talks. And I wondered why they would take the chance on hiring Harrison Ford for the role of Thunderbolt Ross because
He's old.
he's old. He's old enough to be president. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, good one.
I thought I thought there were probably other choices that could have been made for that role, but in any case, that will bring us to midsummer, I believe, of this year with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And those are the things to look forward to. In the fall, there are more things to look forward to as well because they've got a full slate this year. They have hit the ground running, Marvel has, with their Disney Plus, with their cinematic outings, and it's just going to be a blast. Chillmonger, I thank you for being here with us. and talking to us about that. I'd love to have you back sometime other to talk more Marvel for the well once we get past these things and we find out we can do a recap of these predictions, see where they landed, see where they didn't, what surprised us, and look ahead for the rest of 2023. What do you say?
I say yes, and I say recast T'Challa because I don't think I mentioned that in the last 36 minutes. And there's no stream I'll be a part of, or video, or any project where I don't mention that the greatest, most top black superhero that ever existed needs to continue being in the forefront of this next generation of Marvel movies. Since they're not rebooting, they're going a long time. Let's have this guy featured.
If anybody wants the best take on it, um, go to YouTube and look up Cat Williams and T'Challa.
Yeah, the comedy. Yeah, yeah, that was good. I liked it.
He
Yeah,
put
Cat Williams had it.
yes, and it's short, it's sweet, it's vulgar, and but it tells it like it is, and
It's the best when you can mix a joke in with your kind of message. Like that, yeah, that should really shouldn't happen. This character needs to be present because some of the other characters never stopped.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm in full agreement with you here. They should have recast him and given somebody else an opportunity to shine. Um, I'm not a big fan of martyrs.
Mm. Or
However, I
immortalizing or cementing or retiring the jersey or whatever. However you frame it,
yeah,
the
yeah.
top black superhero's missing. And there's a lot of progression that could be being had.
Let's give Marvel that little bitty golf clap that they deserve
For
because for introducing the second T'Challa, even if
nah,
he's like 6 or 7 years old.
I reject that to child. It is Toussaint from Haiti. That is not the boy that becomes the man T'Challa. Nope. No golf clap here.
No, no, they're not going to Cassie Lang him and bring him in as a teenager.
They can do whatever they want with him, but I want his dad back. If it is his real dad. I don't know. Nakia's, she may have been frisky. She may have gotten lonely during the blip.
Yeah, well, it's not just for police officers, I tell you what. But we don't talk about news on my channel. We do entertaining things. We bring people out and we bring awareness to different things. The plight of T'Challa is one that I side with,
Mm,
and I think should have happened. And I think the decision was made for financial reasons, like a lot of the decisions in Marvel or DC were made for financial reasons.
yeah, and the second movie made 3/5 of what the first Black Panther made. So, in a world where Captain America and Guardians and Ant Man sequels and Iron Man sequels and Spider Man sequel all made more money, this guy's film didn't.
Yeah, I love how people were so angry that DC second guessed Zack Snyder while he was in production, replaced him uh, when they found the first opportunity they could. Um, Otherwise, he would have finished his film.
Yeah,
I don't think they could have replaced him
yeah.
without him stepping back for the tragic loss of his daughter. Um, but they stepped in. They had rewrites. They did new edits. They found somebody else to direct it the rest of the way, and they interfered and made a crap film. But then you come back later on. They caved to the masses. They let him finish his film. They put it on the streaming service, and it was still a crap film. So, you know, studios do things for a reason, and that reason is the bottom line. The bottom line means is it going to make us money? Is it going to cost us money? If it's going to cost them money, they will not do it. If it's going to make them money, they're going to do it. But at the end of the day, they're not artists either, and the decisions that are made for financial reasons aren't necessarily the decisions that are made for artistic reasons and don't make artistic sense.
Hmm.
So that's why we get T'Challa, uh, and a funeral and a
We didn't
mantle
see the
passing.
body. No, there was no body. And then, most funerals I know, You put him underground. They flew him up to the sky. Was that a Skrull? Will we find out on Secret Invasion that the T'Challa body will just wake up and be like, "Yeah, I'm done my shift now." Like it could be. There's a lot of ways in this fiction that we can undo the death of T'Challa.
And that's the comic book way, of course.
No one's actually dead. No.
Not in comic books. No, everybody lives forever and they are happy and hunky dory unless they are forced to join Hydra. So, Captain America saying, Hail Hydra. I don't buy it. Don't
Mm-mm.
buy it at all.
Cosmic Cube.
But thanks for being here. Glad you had, I had a great time here. Hope everybody else did. And we're going to end it here, folks. And I hope you have a great day.
Toodles.